Charlene McKenna, how's it going?
Good. I mean, fine.
Yeah,
Over it.
I hear you, but what a way to be in lockdown, though, with a Jed Mercurio drama about to kick off on the BBC. I watched one episode and I went, sorry, you're not going to give me all four to preview all at once so I can
I
binge
was
them?
wondering because I'm always wondering what the press have seen and not seen.
One is all I've seen. It is.
I have to say, I don't think it gives too much away. I still think by the end of 4, you're like, but that's what, I mean, we love it.
How does it feel, Charlene, that you are in, like you find out there's a new Jed Mercurio series starting. I mean, we're all addicted to Line of Duty. And then they go, and by the way, not only are you going to be in it, you get to play one of his cool detectives.
I know. I was so excited to play a detective. All the amazing, Chris's amazing writing aside, and Jed's amazing, influence aside, I was like, do I get a gun? I mean, like the kid in me, I went into the narrative of the character and all that. Of course I did. But the child in me was like, do I get a suit? Do I get a gun? What do I get? Do I get a badge? I want a badge. I want to be like, hi, I didn't get a badge. They were like, you get a lanyard. And I was like, a lanyard? I want a, god damn, I was like, I want a badge. I want to be like, GS McGovern. And then I this one scene where I don't think I'm allowed, I think I'm allowed to say this, I don't think I'm giving it away. But I just say I get to do a, freeze moment. So I was like gearing up and there's cars, and there's stunts, and I'm like ready, and I run out with my gun. It was the whole thing. And then we had these on-site detectives and PSNI officers who were amazing for our research. And I can't remember what was written in the actual script, but basically it wasn't freeze, but in my head I was in, like freeze. But they were like, no, actually they say halt. And I was like, halt?
They don't.
Wait. I don't get a badge and I have to say halt and make it. I was like, it's very hard to, especially because I'm so small and I always feel like, the little cop in Police Academy, the in my head. In my head, I'm like, that's pretty. So yes, but no, yes. Back to your original question. It's very, very exciting to have this coming out in lockdown.
Do you know what though? I am so glad you said all of that, because when I'm watching it, yes, I am like, I'm taken by the whole thing. But one of the first things I think is, oh my God, how cool, she gets to pretend to be a detective. So I'm so glad.
She gets to pretend to be way smarter than I think I am. Like, oh, I love playing someone so smart.
So what are those sets like? Because like I can only talk about, not that I've been on the Line of Duty set, but I can only talk about the Line of Duty sets because you see the cast all having so much fun. I mean, it's such a serious topic and such a serious and sometimes dark show. But offset, are you guys just having a ball?
I mean, a complete ball. And I think that's really important. Actually, we and the Line of Duty cast, because it was before the world ended, we all went out together. Oh, not often.
Tell me more.
I know. I mean, I was like, if people saw this, they'd be like, what? There's the two. Yeah, I can't remember where we just all ended up in a bar and I know Adrian Dunbar from before, because I've worked with him before. Jimmy knows everyone. He's the mayor of Northern Ireland. So Jimmy knows everybody. And I hadn't worked directly with, but Martin Constant had been on Ripper Street with us. So there was just a sort of a, so that was good crack. But yes, Jimmy is a lot of fun. He's a very funny, charismatic guy. So he sets the tone, as the number one, he sets the tone. And I think when you have a lead like that, it filters down that there's an air of professionalism and humor and no egos, no toxic, no toxicity. So yeah, we did have really good fun. Well, yeah, of course you're dealing with the serious subject matter, but I think to approach that, it's nice to have levity,
Yeah. So was this because I saw on your Instagram there was some shots of you filming in February. Was this all wrapped before the world went haywire?
We literally wrapped March 14th, do I want to say? Because I was meant to go back to
Wow.
New York on Paddy's Day. And so we just got wrapped, and but Line of Duty were still going, and then we heard like a week later they got pulled, and we were like, oh, we just got wrapped, and
So
then it was like,
but that means because like usually what happens with TV shoots as well is you wrap, but you may be called back a couple of months later to do some
yeah,
reshoots and stuff. You just
yeah,
had to, they had to put out whatever you had. There were no reshoots
yeah,
or anything, were there?
no, no, there wasn't, but I think they were okay. I don't think they needed any. I think they were fine. I think we had to do some little, fudge lines and ADR and stuff, but other than that, I think they had it in the bag.
And so how does it feel now? Like you finished just literally 2 days before we went into lockdown here, and
Yeah.
now it has come out during lockdown. How does that
I
feel?
know. I think we all thought, didn't everyone think we'd be like, oh, 2 weeks off, and then
Oh,
they'll figure out
completely.
that pesky little virus. Um, it's unbelievable. It was such a shock to the system because I went from being DSE McGovern and running around and I'm a detective to being back on the farm with my parents cutting sticks. I was like, oh, forever. And every job I had lined up canceled, my wedding canceled, like everything that I planned. And I knew the start of the year, I was like, it's a good year. This is like, everything was lining up way too hunky dory because I was due to go straight from Bloodlands. I had like a little gap. I was going to go back to New York and come back. I was going to start Peaky Blinders, and then I was going to go right through to my wedding. Then after the wedding, I was going to do Vienna Blood, the second season. I was like, this is just hunky dory. No, 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 no. You're not going to go anywhere for the rest of your life.
So how do you deal, like we've all had disappointments, and
Yeah,
how did you deal with that disappointment? Because your disappointment as well is professional and personal. Like how many times have
yeah.
you put off your wedding? Have you just put it off
Oh my
indefinitely
God,
now?
100. I mean, so many. I've had so many weddings, and then I've replanned it, and then got excited about the replan, and then that didn't happen, and then replanned it again, and then you know what? Like a sad day, and then, but honestly, not to sound like I'm a saint, you do then watch the news and you go, I mean, you can't. I know double negative makes no sense, but you can't not see those
Yeah.
doctors and nurses and people on ventilators and not just diminish your every, silly thing. In that, in correlated with that, there is no disappointment. There is no, because it's like, come on. So yeah, I had you'd have a sad day, and then you watch the news and you go, okay, this can be fixed, but that's the real shit.
Well, I suppose as well, we can still have hope. We can have
Yeah,
hope that, guess what, one day you're going to be having a massive party to celebrate
yeah,
that wedding. You will
yeah.
be back on the film sets. What's happening with Peaky Blinders? Has that started shooting again,
We're
or
started, yeah, yeah. It started a few weeks ago, so I've a week or so done, and now I'm going back. I think next week. So yeah, they've started thankfully, and it's so far touch wood, it's gone fine.
is
So
anything different? Like going back to set, was there a part of it? Because like we cannot wait for normality to return. But I think we're
yeah,
also a little bit nervous about
yeah,
reality returning. So when you go back onto
yeah,
set, how are you, like I'm sure you're excited, but how are you feeling
yeah.
when you're stepping onto that set?
Well, I was more nervous. My first job back was last September, so it was still we went back. We did Vienna Blood, the second season of it, and that was more. That was a bit more nerve wracking because I hadn't. It was one of the few productions to be starting because they went into pre-production sort of late summer. So that was more like, what's this going to be like? And so that kind of, I had more of a sense of it by the time I got to Peaky. So it wasn't as like, oh, everyone's in masks and oh, it's little things like on Peaky last week, or the week before, waiting in the green room and I was bored. So I was like, I'll go for a wander. So I decided to go outside. Now the ADs always kind of hover and follow you anyway because they need to know where you are in case it's like, go. But this girl was like really hovering around me, and I was like, I'm not going to run across the field. Like I'm just wandering around. But I realized it was because, God bless her. It was because if we walk down a corridor, they have to clear the corridor. And I was just
Gosh.
standing in the porch, and then I was wandering in this corridor. So she was like, I was making her job a nightmare, and I didn't know. And I was like, "You okay?" She was like, "Yeah, are you gonna go down? Are you going down there? Just, I need to go ahead and clear everyone." I was like, "Oh, I'm such an idiot." But they have an amazing COVID protocol. There's this like 50-page booklet, and it's got pictures and artwork. I mean, it's amazing. So they're on it.
So the definition of being a diva has been rewritten, and now it's like she wants to go for a walk and she expects me to clear rooms for her.
Yeah. I didn't know. I didn't maybe read that page on the protocol book.
Oh, 50 pages. I don't think any of
Yeah.
us do. We just go, just tell us what to do. So what's the feeling
Yeah.
like? I know you can't say too much, but what is the feeling
Yeah.
like on the Peaky Blinders set right now?
Honest to God, everyone, including Killian, is just so happy to be back to work. Everyone's excited to be on that show anyway, but there's a newfound level, I think, of gratitude
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be just able to be at work, to be able to be at work, that the production's able to, because it's such a mammoth machine, that particular show, and the scale and the scope and the size of it, to get that machine cranking is like a huge achievement for the crew, I think. So there's just a great air of gratitude and good humor, and everyone's very willing to play by the rules because they don't want it to be stood down.
But this is the final season, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is there a newfound gratitude for that as well? Like, is there a sadness?
I don't think yet, because it's only started, but I'd say that'll come when it's starting to get near the end, but
Yeah.
not yet, because it's only a few weeks in, so everyone's like, still,
We're back.
to work. Yeah,
Yeah.
back to school feeling.
There's a line in Bloodlands where your boss is talking to yourself and James Nesbitt's DCI, and he says, your job is just to find Pat Keenan. Don't go down any other roads because you're not sure where they may lead you. Was acting always the road you were going to go down? Did you ever think there was going to be another road for you?
Well, because when I left school, I studied very briefly property economics, and then I studied classical music. So I was being very sensible, and I was like, oh, I'll be a teacher, and I'll do that. But it is the God's honest truth. I remember the day I started the university, and I remember crossing the threshold, because I was always acting on the side. And I remember, I can still see the door saddle of the college. And I remember crossing it, and I said to myself, if acting takes off, I'm following it.
Wow.
If it doesn't, this is what I'm going to do. And then it did. I'm like, oh, huh? Okay. So yeah, that's where I was heading, because I don't know, whatever notions I had, I didn't think it was something I could actively pursue in that way. I don't know. So the Lear and places like that didn't exist when I was coming out of school. So there was Trinity drama, but you needed like more points than it would take to be a doctor. And I was like, that's not going to happen to me.
No.
So I didn't even apply. But I was the same. I think I had a lot of lack of self-belief, because I also didn't think I'd get into music school. I didn't think I'd be good enough. So I didn't apply for that right away. So I think it was like self-sabotaging or something. I don't know. But yeah, that was the road I thought I was heading down.
Self-sabotage is tough at the best of times, right? But then in this industry, Charlene, where there is so much rejection, there is so much uncertainty, how do you move past that and actually back yourself and go, no, like if COVID hadn't happened, you gave us a year of back-to-back work that you had lined up.
Yeah. You always, I speak for myself. I always feel like that's just a fluke and that won't last. So
even now,
oh my God, even now, yeah, always. I'm still waiting. Like, is that it now? Is that? I can't remember what was the last job I wrapped, but I was like, that's probably the last call sheet you'll ever see. But you know what? It was a good run. You know, you gotta be nothing but grateful. I don't know, it's not me being it's not very Irish of me, but I do. And even now I'm thinking it, because Killian actually said it to me the other day. He said, you know, it's 17 years since we did Breakfast on Pluto. And Breakfast on Pluto was the job I did after walking over that threshold. In the
Wow.
college, I got the call to go and meet them. And anyway, got that film, did that film. And in my head, I was like, that's 17 years ago. And technically, I'm acting even longer. And I was like, you'd think, you know, the evidence would suggest that maybe you could relax, that maybe it's probably going to be okay. You know, that maybe, but something in me is always going, you know, you're only as good as your last job. So I was like,
Oh, well, Charlene, I hope you get to enjoy everything because like what you're putting out there is so good. And it's not even like you're going from one small production to another. Like you mentioned Peaky, you've got Jed
yeah.
Mercurio, Bloodlands. Let's put it out there now. What's something that you haven't done that you would love to do? Because you're going to be continuing to act until you decide you
You
don't
know
want to.
what? I actually thought someone asked me something like this the other day, and I don't know. I mean, there's always the, you know, the obvious answers like the Lady Macbeth or the, you know, of course, them intricate, great female roles. I'd love a role of that kind of psychological complexity, but in like a western or something. I think my next, I want to like kick through saloon doors and like ride horses now. I mean, I say that the last time I had to ride a horse was on Merlin, and they gave me a one-eyed horse. She sort of went round in circles, but like a cool horse. I don't know why I've got a western in my head. I just have a western in my head. I think it's a great question.
Well, do you know what? I'm sure you'll make it happen. And
I'm
hopefully,
living out my childhood fantasy.
yeah, do you know what? Make it happen. But in the meantime,
Yeah.
Bloodlands weekly BBC, BBC One from Sunday the 21st of February.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a pleasure chatting to you.
Such a pleasure. You too.